Right, Rich.
Hello.
Only Murders in the Building is coming back. I figured we could write an episode of it.
I'm down for writing that.
Now, what better way to do an episode than to do a one-off, capsule episode where we write a character for Chevy Chase, the third member of the Three Amigos.
And so, just to clarify for those in the audience and also who don't know, were these writing partners, or they were an acting trio? I assume, they work often with each other, or was it just a one-time thing?
So, John Landis directed The Three Amigos, which was Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase. And they sort of just become known as a trio, a comedy trio. So, because Chevy is very, very difficult to work with, he obviously wasn't asked on board for Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's a good thing, man. We can write a Chevy episode and we can play up to the good parts of Chevy Chase's comedy without having to work with him. So it's a win-win for us.
Yeah, he works best being a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Which is a personality anyway. So what's our conceit? What's our plot?
So we had a couple of ideas. Either Chevy is murdered in the first 5 minutes. He moves into the Arconia and he's just killed instantly. Or maybe he's a fan of the podcast and he's moved in to try and get involved in the podcast.
I was thinking you could have him join and he goes, "Oh, hey guys, I've not seen you in a while." And he's like, "I heard about the podcast." And then the electricity goes out and in the hallway, and then there's a bunch of bangs. You're like, what's going on? And then there's a body on the floor. Blood.
The first thing we need to establish, though, man, is who is Chevy? Who's Chevy playing?
I just think he's Chevy.
So Martin Short is playing Oliver, Steve Martin is playing Charles, and Chevy Chase is playing Chevy Chase, the actor.
So what if he's worked with these in the past and there's why didn't you ask me? I love murders.
Okay, so wait.
And then they're like that double homicide on the road doesn't count as loving murders, Chevy. He's like, we covered it in court. Settled out of court. Yeah, so
right, so Chevy Chase in the past has been charged with vehicular manslaughter, and we just casually drop that.
And that's probably when he went on a bender and he just didn't want to work with him anymore because of all that.
Right,
he's if a guy does his time, can't he be accepted again? Can't we be friends?
Chevy knows Oliver and Charles from the past.
Yeah, because they both worked in showbiz, didn't they?
Yeah. But they know what a terrible person Chevy Chase is.
Yeah. That's why they're like, no, this is where Chevy's plan kicks in. So he dies. Well, we think he died. There's just a body there. They're like, he's gone out. And then instantly police arrive.
Right.
And they're like, oh no, the great Chevy Chase is dead. And then that's when Charles, he says the line, it's reminds me of that episode where season 3, episode 2, the one where Chevy Chase pretends to be dead.
Right. So Charles mentions that Chevy Chase guest starred in an old episode of Brazos where he pretended to be dead.
And he's just doing the same thing. But then the clearly fake police officer gets the body and then shits himself. And he's like, oh, we need to call the police. And he goes, aren't you the police? And he's like, no, this is a real body. Dun, dun, dun. And that's the hook. So it's wait, did Chevy kill someone? Is that a real body? What's going on?
Right. So...
What?
Right, so Chevy Chase has moved into the building. He's trying to get involved in the podcast, saying why didn't you call up your old friend?
Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, I see you've already replaced me with someone sexier. And
Mabel just gives him a look of disgust.
Yeah.
Because he's this large, older man. Suddenly lights go off.
Yeah, and then bunch of banging, bunch of whatever.
Chevy's dead on the floor.
Oh no! And then and then there's a body on the floor.
That's insane. What an insane start.
They check the body or something, and it'll be you drove me to this. It'll be a riddle or something.
So, right, Chevy Chase hasn't acted in 3 years, man. I don't know what's going on with him. But do you reckon he's retired from acting to become the Riddler?
Yeah. You know, that landlord in Smiling Friends, and he's like, it cost me 8,700,000 to enact my plan. Chevy's just had no money and no friends for 4 years, so he's he's concocted this.
He's like, neither of you showed up to my roast in 2004.
Yeah. Oh my god. And what if they all get a ding and they check on their phones and Twitter and that, it says like the Only Murders podcast culpable of Chevy Chase's death. Or something like that. It's been
That's quick. That's quick.
It's been leaked, and it's like they have to solve it before they get arrested for his death to prove like, no, this is not Chevy. So then we cut to like them down in the police station, and it's like it's clearly Chevy Chase. You know what he's like. The policeman's like, no, I've never met the man. I don't know what what is he like.
I also like the fact that, you know, when someone dies who wasn't a great person, and then suddenly everyone pretends to like them.
Yeah, I reckon everyone on Twitter's like,
the
what an amazing guy. He did everything for me.
The legend Chevy Chase, comedy legend Chevy Chase dies.
Yeah, if I didn't like Dan Harmon, I'd say Dan Harmon does a tweet going, what a legend, indisputable guy. Something like that.
Always liked him.
Always liked him, never had any issues.
Right, so how do they investigate? So whose is the body?
Right, it goes into the morgue, and they can't see it, and they got to do bloods and stuff. I think bloods take like 24 hours.
Right.
So we have 24 hours.
So they have 24 hours to prove that that's not Chevy Chase before they find out, okay, yeah, that isn't Chevy Chase. Why not just wait? Oh, because of the podcast.
Yeah, essentially. Either way, they've been caught with a dead body, they need to like sort this out. It's like, why the fuck are you still doing a dead body?
Hang on, maybe at the start of the episode, Chevy he's got like you know the plasters on your arm from when you've taken blood?
Yeah.
And they become suspicious that he's loaded this body up with his blood.
Yeah, that's a thing you could do, like for months on months. You can just like slowly exsanguinate the other body. That's objectively insane, but I love it. That sounds like a Chevy Chase who's not seen a human in like 2 years.
What's the first part of investigation?
So they have to get these riddles, and it leads them all over the house.
So they go from place to place. We'll have these little mysteries set up, riddles that lead from one place to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to go through all the different clues, do we? We may as well just get to the big reveal.
What if we just incorporate that? What if he reads the clue and he just comes up and goes, God damn Chevy, I know where he is anyway. And he throws it. There's like this secret room that they know about where you can get a look into the ladies' room.
Oh God.
And they just go in there and Chevy's there giggling. Like, you found me. You've righted your wrongs, then you've faced your dire sins against me. He's like, no, Chevy, we just know you're a perv.
So he set up all these clues so they'd eventually lead to this one place, and they just went, well, of course we know where he'll be. He's in New York. You know, it's the one place he goes to in his downtime.
Yeah.
I reckon Chevy would even say, How'd you do it without the clues? I was hearing top secret. And then someone knocks on the door and they've got like an Uber for him. And they got, Mr. Chase, Mr. Chevy Chase.
He's got 2 trailers outside.
With his name on them. Big letters. Chevy.
And it's like, Chevy, stop all this. Can you go to the police station and sort this out? And he goes, naturally, but I can't. What do you mean you can't? Well, he goes, well, that body is my brother's. Like, your brothers? You have a brother? He's like, not technically, no, definitely not anymore. He goes, she gets lonely at the top.
Right, you can't just say the most unhinged stuff and then end it with, you see it gets lonely at the top, and then expect people to be on your side.
Yeah, but then he'll go like, see, when I was a kid, and then Mabel's like, everyone was a kid and sad, okay? Doesn't mean you get to chop heads off, Chevy, or make weird remarks to every girl you meet.
I reckon we end on a big speech from Chevy, where he's like, all I wanted to be was part of your little show. You know, how we used to be, the 3 amigos.
Can we have a close-up at this moment? And it slowly zooms out, and we realise he's a defendant. In court, he's like, the 3 amigos. And he's like talking to... They're not even in there. The judge is like, who are the 3 amigos? He goes, they'll know when they read it. They'll know when they cover it on their podcast. They'll know.
We just end with Chevy being dragged away in like an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.